What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys had a fantastic Monday. We are got you guys piling in. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to Amy, Andy. Good morning to Brian Thompson. Good morning, Brian Reppel. We got Christopher. Cindy's gonna rock with us. We got my boy Greg G. Good morning, Jay, Linder, Joe, Kevin, Lauren, Lou, Matthew, Nancy, Ron. We got Ty. I don't think I've seen your name before, Ty. Good morning. We got Win. Good morning to you. Oof. Man, we got the squadron piling in. Good morning to Richard Jet in YouTube land. Oh, my other peeps in YouTube land. All the lurkers out there not making any comments in YouTube. It's okay. I still love you. I still love you. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Let's get into it. The market, a future. I'm looking at the mini futures. They're just tanking right now. We got the SPY coming down a little bit as well. It seems like a lot of activity as soon as I started. It's crazy. It's crazy. We got Disney news. Is Disney moving? I mean, the entire market just kind of tanked. We got a big candle, yep, and then big candle on Disney. What was their news that just came out? The latest I got, at least in trading views from an hour ago. So something else is going on there. Let's pull up the SPY. Let's see what we got going on. But right now, yep, big candle down south. Literally 3 minutes ago, we were at least going to get some kind of inside day from yesterday. We're still inside, but we are below where we opened from yesterday. That's not great. If we also look at this candle, so we do have from Friday a pretty big gap and go. Nice bearish close, hardly any wick. We did have a little bit of a wick yesterday, a lot of a retest, and I think today we come down south a little bit more. At least that's what it appears to. I got my first spot to the south side. Well, we got a couple. The first one's going to be about 442.59. We got a perfect bounce off of that yesterday. That makes it a little bit weaker to hold today, and we would be looking. I still think there's probably a little support there. I don't know how much. But then I'm looking at 441.86 would be my next target to the downside. Following that, we got 440.17. I got my magical fake number. It's not really based on anything except I drew it there for a while and it seems to work. I don't know. But 438.91, that would be my next spot, and maybe slightly before that 439.21. So we have a few spots to the lower side. We got two VPOCs above us on the SPY. The first one, if we at all, and I mean, nothing about these futures of SPY are looking bullish right now, but 443.68, and then we got 443.86. So we've got some decent resistance above us. We are gapping again below yesterday's open. So even though we're inside day, we have a little bit of support. I think we are looking a little bit more to the bearish side than to the bullish side. Let's check out the Qs. QQQ. Jay says, Walt Disney Company says developing plans to accelerate and expand investment in its DPEP segment. I don't know what is DPEP. Believe that company's financial conditions is strong. Oh, Disney Parks. Got you. So they're going to make a new ride? It's a small world after all. Yeah. I mean, that's a positive statement from Disney, but market don't like it. All right, we got the Qs. I guess spending the money on the balance sheet to invest in the park, that's going to take some money off the balance sheet. So that could be why longer term they got to do something. All right, Qs, we are still inside day, so Qs are a little bit stronger than the overall SPY, at least for now. Again, I'm looking at the futures and the SPY just coming down as I'm talking. So. You guys ever see what's that movie? Fun with Dick and Jane, where Jim Carrey is they make him like the financial representative of the company, CFO, I think. And as he's on CNBC talking, like they show a picture of the stock, and like the chart is just absolutely crashing. His company he's talking about is absolutely just dying. That kind of feels like me right now. I feel like I'm talking and the SPY just keeps coming lower and lower. We got the Qs coming down a little bit. Again, we do have one little moving average. We also have some kind of support sitting, I would say somewhere about 369.34. So we are slightly above that, but that was already hit yesterday. I think we could at least get down to 366.42. The one before that is 365.41. Sebastian, good morning. You got to see the original from the, yeah, I didn't see the original one. I didn't see the original. I didn't even know there was an original, to be honest. But I did like that one with Jim Carrey because they talked about Enron and it was fun. If you guys have tickers, throw those into the chat. I see Lauren has Starbucks and we got Square as well. Starbucks, a little bit of a gap down. It is a gap and go. Technically speaking, it is a gap and go. The one thing I don't like about this gap and go, well, two things. One, I wouldn't put too much weight on yesterday's candle. I would put it on the day before because yesterday was just an inside day retest. There is some weakness in this thing. Anybody in that first day shorting, they will be profitable. So from anybody that shorted on Friday and held for 2 days, they're going to be a little bit profitable, and we are opening a tad bit of support. So we could come lower, of course. I mean, anything can happen, but I think if we do come lower, look for 95.06 as your bounce spot. So that's going to limit my downside unless you guys think we could break that, then that would be a decent short. Otherwise, opening at support to the higher side, look for a retest 96.29. I probably wouldn't be the first one to short that one. I would wait for some kind of a bounce, some kind of a green candle if possible. I think this one plays out a little bit more like a retest as opposed to a gap and go. So I would hold off on that for now, for me, at least from the open. But what I think there's definitely weakness. Question is where. And I just moved this fib around, so it doesn't make sense. Let me take it off. We got Square gapping down. I think they got a new CEO yesterday, or they brought back Dorsey, one of them. But yeah, definitely nothing but selling on this one. This one also should be probably a little bit of a retest gap. I don't like where this thing's opening at all. I think when I redid the beginner class, I had this line on here, retest buy spot somewhere down here. We're not too far from it. I was actually looking at this one yesterday. I forgot I had this one on there, but 45.87 is the retest for the long term. I don't know. I do think this one's probably a little bit of a retest gap as well. So again, just gap down. We have a few days of selling. Somebody's gonna be profitable. Again, it looks weak. I think this thing comes down further, but again, I just don't want to be the first one to short this one. Wait for some kind of a bounce. We'll throw this one higher on the list just to see what happens and if we get a good setup. Otherwise, the market's kind of quiet today a little bit. Just selling all day. What does the day pass for Disney go? You got to get a job with Uber just to pay for it. You got to get a second, third, or fourth job just to go to Disney. So yeah, it's a little pricey. We got Ali in YouTube land on Square. We just took a look at that one. Let's take a look at RKLB. Rocket Labs. Rocket. That rocket exploded. This one's coming down again. Really good support. This might be a fun one to fade, except for the price. I don't like to trade anything under $5. This one's $4.11. So quite the gap down. I think this one, if you do want to trade it, I mean, that's just my plan. That I don't really trade anything under $5. I think this one bounces from here. This is quite an absolute disaster of a sell-off. What is this? New? Yeah, I was gonna say, is it earnings or news? It's gotta be news. Or Rocket Mortgage. Let me see if there's anything on this one. Starbucks is down 1.3 in pre-market, trading to the downtrend by. So Starbucks got a downgrade. Okay. CVS is up 1% pre-market, trading on an upgrade. So CVS got upgraded, Starbucks downgraded. Rocket Labs plunged. I don't know why the word plunge is hilarious to me, but it is. Down 23% in pre-market trading after the company was forced to end its latest rocket launch mission and postponed an upcoming mission. All right, so Rocket Lab is down based on headlines. I do like this support a lot, so somewhere around 407, even 411 is not horrible, but you have good risk reward down here. This has been notably a good support for Rocket Labs. If you guys like it for the long term, I do not. I I don't know enough about it to really get on board, but this is where it's been pretty much held up. This is a retest gap. I would look for this thing to fade up higher. It's also, I mean, it's a rescheduled mission, not a cancellation. So I think you could buy that dip. Yeah, Win says you got to pay two mortgage payments just to go see the mouse. It's crazy. All right, Dish. Yeah, market's a little bit quiet. So I mean, I know you guys are a little quiet on sending some of the tickers over, but in general, the market is also quiet. So I kind of get it. Here's another one, pretty fairly cheap stock. Dish not really do anything. It's exactly where this thing closed at. To the downside, I mean, I don't know. You had your breakout candle Thursday. Friday, we gave some of that back. Nice little double bottom, not quite tweezer bottoms, but we got a higher low technically. And you're opening right essentially where you closed yesterday with a decent amount of support below us. So again, and I think resistance on this one, I'd really want to see us get back above 655 if I was to go long on this one. Otherwise, if you miss that first breakout, this is your chance. Decent risk to reward. Probably throw my stops. I mean, if you're very, very aggressive, I would go below Thursday's candle, so somewhere around 629. I don't even think I would do that, to be honest. I would probably look for like a $6 stop. So otherwise, just kind of chilling. XOM Mobile. So we got ExxonMobil rallying into a bit of resistance. So first spot, probably about 118.90. The next one is about 119.32. It is a pretty nice gap. We did rally into that gap. So we've had a nice little run up on this thing. I don't really see much holding it back, except for those two little spots where we got rejected. We had some pivots. We had some volume come in. Otherwise, small little pullback. And I don't have targets. I mean, this thing has just been moving absolutely crazy. So I would play this thing as a retest. So see if this thing wants to pull back a little bit, get better risk reward. And then if you think this thing can break out of, I would have to assume to make a really good trade on this one, we'd have to break this 119.26. Can we do that today? I don't know. I mean, there's definitely some strength in ExxonMobil for sure. Probably crude, probably Chevron as well. But yeah, we're at a very, very big resistance on a gap up. I think this one probably fades it open. Look for a better entry to try to come in, but we did pull back, and that's the one thing. I mean, we did pull back lots and lots of volume on this one day. We are clearly gapping above that. This could get some momentum into it. I'll have to drag this thing higher on the list. I just don't know if we could break those stupid little resistance spots. I don't know. But if you're a little more confident that you can, than me, that we can, this could be a nice trade. I do like this chart. I'd hate all that buying into this when it's gapping up. I'd love to see a little tiny pullback first, and I think we get it, but we'll see. Tesla. Good morning, Gene. We got Ivo in YouTube land as well. All right, so Tessie, let me see if I could take some of these lines off. Tessie with a gap down inside day from yesterday. I think we're still a little bit more bearish on Tesla. We're holding decent support. Man, this is a tough one. This is inside day. I would almost treat this as a gap and go from yesterday, which is pretty bananas because it was strong. So that candle right there, sentiment is still bullish. This is just a retest candle. We did sell a little bit more than we probably wanted to on that wick, but the bulls came in, they stepped in pretty decent. And now with this VPOC just gapping and closing below all of this, I would have to put the sentiment a little bit more to the bearish side than the bullish side on Tesla for right now. We're still holding this one candle, which was a pretty impressive gap up. Look for 267.50 as your resistance. So 267.50, and we might get some buying. I mean, this thing looks like probably death at open, but Still inside the candle from the 11th, which was big gap up. I would imagine some bulls come in wanting to save this thing somewhere around 264.12. We're very close to that. Again, this is inside. So you also have yesterday's lows as some type of maybe support. Market's coming down. Tesla. I mean, again, I don't like where that VPOC is. That's just trapped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Next target to the downside on this one would be 258.49. This might be a fun one, especially if we could get a green candle. If we get a green 3-minute candle that we could take some kind of a break, I think this would be a absolutely fantastic short. At least that would get me my setup, my entry. And I think we have that continuation to the downside. Again, it's not going to be easy because of the candle from the 11th, but I don't know. Probably playing that one to I'm looking at the SPY. SPY is just all right. We got Shopify. Again, a little bit of a gap down at open. This should be some type of a retest. Interesting. 258 is the daily. Let me just pull back Tesla real quick. Daily 20 EMA. Yeah, that 258 I think is where probably some kind of support is. I mean, if we start breaking, I mean, the next one after that is 256.84, so that's possible. And then looking for like 252.02. And then I think if we're gonna get a bounce, 251.15 is really the spot where I would assume that's the heaviest volume out of all this. And that's really what the bulls have to save on this thing. But yeah, it looks like continuation down. I'd much rather short Tesla 267.50. I mean, even 267.36 is not a bad spot. But if we get any type of buying on this thing, short as high as possible, just because it is inside, it could give you a little bit of safety and support down here. I mean, again, the market is absolutely free falling. Tesla's still kind of holding these levels, even though it's coming down, but I don't know. Let's take a look again at Shop. So Shop has been a nice little gap up. We closed that gap yesterday. We held at a good spot. That's 59.55. And then we're getting technically a retest gap down today. So again, probably don't be the first one to short this one. We do have, I think, a few levels lower. I would look for if we really start to sell today, and I mean, so far the spot looks like it, but 57.69 would be my target to the downside. One more after that, we get to 56.66, and that's probably where it wraps today if we just have an all-out bloodbath in the market. But we will see. Shopify is technically a retest gap, so again, maybe wait for this one to short. Lots of selling on that candle yesterday. Even some increased volume came in. But we did close that gap, so that might be an interesting spot for some longer term players to play it. I mean, valuation to me is just absolutely redonkulous on Shopify, so it's not a spot for me at all. And we do have some lower targets. So again, would be fun if we get maybe a buying candle at open, close that gap from yesterday, and then look to short WRK. WestRock. It was either WestRock or work. Again, lots of buying into this gap up. This is a gap and go. Technically not breaking the highs of the 15th yet. I'm not sure on the volume with this one. I've never actually looked at the stock or knew it existed until right this second, to be honest. Has a decent amount of room higher. Next target would be 39.06. The one after that, 39.27. And that would take us to resistance. To me, this could be either this is wave 1, 2, this is probably about 3, 4, this is wave 5. And we have a little bit of resistance first at 37.91. So I wish I was a little more familiar with how this stock trades or how the volume is on this thing. I do love the fact that we're above all that volume. But again, if I was a bear on the stock, this is where I'd want to hold this thing. I'd want to hold it here. I think anything above 37.49 could take me to the higher side. And again, we do have a little bit of room higher. I just wouldn't feel. I just hate the fact that we're just running up into this gap up. Somebody that got in closer to 31, 32, 33. I think this gap up, they're going to be a little bit profitable. Might want to take something. So look for a little pullback at least first, I think. See how we handle 37.17. If we use that as support, I can get on board about taking the breakout. But yeah, this is already kind of run a little bit. It is a gap and go, though. It is a gap and go. I wish we could gap a little bit higher than Friday's candle. CNHI. We're digging deep for some tickers. This one's a retest gap at support. Probably this one I would assume retests CNH Industrial. This one's going to be chop fest. Look for some buying. I think obviously sentiment is weaker. Should have decent support somewhere around $13. Technically, this is a retest gap. I don't know how far this thing retests. I don't think we get back up to 1339. I don't even think we close 1332, which is the low from yesterday. I would look for some serious resistance around 1316, but yet you do have some really good support around $13. So just not in a lot of range on this one in either direction. Let me see the longer term on this. Work. We've bounced here before. We have a double bottom longer term. I could see why. I mean, we had a double bottom previously. This is the neckline. We're just sitting at the neckline at open on this thing. We've obviously had some longer term bullish run since 2020. I have no clue what this company does. And I would love to pretend. I would love to pretend that I knew what it did. Historically hasn't done much. Even on the weekly chart, this is a decent spot to look to buy. So decent spot to look to buy, but lots of resistance above us. I probably wouldn't put this one on my list to day trade. And I don't really see anything really worth it for longer term. Just based on the chart. We are just trading sideways on this thing. All right. We looked at Dish already. We looked at Rocket Lab, Square. That's it. That's it. We got nothing left. So how was your day? All right, we got Nvidia. Nvidia gapping. So all of this yesterday was a retest gap. I know me and Ron were looking at this one. I like limited time to trade. Yesterday was absolutely crazy. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I know me and Ron were kind of texting about Nvidia to go long. I think he did pretty well on this one. Sentiment, I mean, with that type of gap is bearish. And again, this is just a retest. We're still hanging out on this. Yeah, Ron got 1.4. Beautiful. We're still hanging above yesterday's VPOC, but if that could break, and I would put that VPOC somewhere at 438.31. So we're about 4 pennies higher than that now. If that starts to break, I would look short on this one. I think even though this is a retest, is a lot of profit taking. So longer term, this could be some type of double bottom. You have to watch for that. Support 425.59. So we have a lot of room to the downside on this thing. And I would probably look for more continuation to the downside, if anything, at open, but we'll have to see. If this is an actual reversal spot, that would be a higher low and then look crazy. But yeah, this is not a great opening candle. We did sell off a little bit, retested, closed perfectly into yesterday's candle. We'll see. DK. AKA Donkey Kong. I don't see any real movement on DK. Brian. Yeah, so we're just kind of hanging out. We've been chopping for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. momentum is to the bullish side. We've already been kind of climbing up there. I probably wouldn't expect too much daily on this one. If we start to break out and we start to really push bullish, and this might not be today, I don't think it will be, but 32.91 would be my target. Otherwise, probably looking to hold some kind of support somewhere back at $28. Otherwise, bullish has been the momentum, but we've just been hanging out. And again, nothing really too crazy at open on this one. USO. Greg Gilbert is stalking. That's a nice little gap and go. Again, I hate gap and goes that are like gap and goes after we just had massive run-ups. But yeah, if you're looking for anything bullish, anything crude is the way to go. Any energy stocks, ExxonMobil, Chevron, those guys are all moving, and I don't really see anything really stopping them at this point, except for maybe a few previous spots on the chart, but those are kind of weak even. So yeah, anything in oil and gas. Oxy's different though. Oxy's got the Buffett touch. The problem with Oxy is they don't put in bids on future contracts. So whatever the current price is of gas is what Oxy pays, which is wild. Everybody else has contracts. This one's at resistance, so be careful of that. If we can push a little bit higher, next little target, I think we could take it up to 68, 64. So that would look good. Pretty decent gap up yesterday, still inside. Yeah, I would look at USO over Oxy for me personally. But yeah, if Oxy could get a little bit higher, that might be decent. It's a nice hammerish looking candle 2 days ago. So Friday, good volume on this candle, and we were now able to break out. We failed this spot before, so look for 67.35 to be your resistance on this one. But yeah, I mean, crude looks strong, so that could help Occidental out. Better gap on XOM. Yeah, I do like the XOM a little bit better. It does, again, XOM though, it still has the resistance up there, but I like XOM a little bit better than this one as well. All right, Larkin says, good luck today, all. Good luck to you too, Larkin. I appreciate you being here. Let's take a look at AMD. AMD just inside from yesterday, nothing too crazy. I would say probably short, but a little bit to the choppy side. Have I analyzed their fundamental? I looked at them briefly, not deep. Sydney wants to take a look at MRO. You also have the Buffett touch on that one too. So anytime it does start selling, you literally have Buffett just buying everything on that. Marathon Oil, again, crude looking good. Anything oil energy wise is decent. Still a little bit of a chop fest on this one though. And that's what I'm not loving about some of these oil. Like if we got a gap past 27.40, yeah, this thing's off to the races. For right now, I think it's a little bit. I would almost look, and you're still inside day two. Yeah, I would look for a little chop fest on MRO. I think all of them are good to watch though, because if we start to break some of those levels, yeah, they got plenty of room in all of these. I'm just not confident we could break through it. All right, unfortunately. But fortunately, there is the morning bell. Everybody, YouTube land, I appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. But until next time, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Be safe. Later.